Shereen is the CEO and founder of Nubian Nature, which is a conscious and ethical brand that does hair, skin and body care. Outside of that, I'm a mother of two. I hail from Soweto, grew up from there, went to school in Soweto. And and I'm married. In a nutshell, that's who I am, a very conscious being, in and out. Yeah.
And Nubian Nature, I mean, that's a beautiful name. And I'm always curious about it. What does it mean?
Well, Nubian Nature, when we came up with the name, Nubian is of Africa, people of Africa. The brand is from Africa. We should never forget where we come from. So for me, it was very important that it becomes part of the brand. And nature naturally means going back to Mother Nature for her riches, for her riches, and that's what we're using in our product.
Wow.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode. This is your host, David Kim. Hi, Shereen. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Hi, David. Thank you so much for having me. Well, Nubian is to us, obviously it means a whole lot of things to different people, but what Nubian means to us is of African origin. And I think there's a story behind Nubian that,
Is that the word that you made, or is it existing word in Africa, South Africa, or English, whatever?
There actually is people of Nubia, which I think they live around Egypt.
I see.
And it is said that civilization actually started there. So I think just choosing the word Nubian meant, we are still part of that civilization. We are still a progressive brand, also African origin. That's the reason behind Nubian. And obviously nature then means, we come from Mother Earth.
Right. So it's name of the tribe in around Egypt.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. So your focused product line is basically hair care, right? Focused product line.
Yes.
But
absolutely, yes.
Yeah, I can but I can imagine the hair care product is a quite small category compared to the color makeup or the skincare. But is there any special reason behind it? You chose the hair care product for your focus?
Okay, I think firstly, I need to just state this. Hair is an expression of who we are as African people, as African women especially. We've done things, we do things to our hair. For centuries, we've been doing things to our hair. I think it's our window to the world. People say the face is the window to the world, but for Africans, hair is the window to the world. Yes.
So unique needs of African women. Or the people.
Absolutely, yes.
Got you.
Yes. So it's an expression of who we are, and the reason why I decided hair care is because I also was having a struggle with my hair. I think I spent most of my life having relaxed my hair with chemicals, and when I went natural, when I decided to just wear my hair in its natural state without chemicals, I struggled to find products that would then help me manage my hair, which is the reason why I then went into making hair care products.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So are you using the unique ingredient for your hair care product?
Well, I think the basis of what we do is making sure we tap into the luxury that already exists in Africa. I think God has really blessed Africa with a lot of raw materials. So I use, from mongongo, which is, from a tree called a manketi tree that you find within the borders of South Africa and Zimbabwe. And I use baobab again, which is locally found in the southern parts of South Africa. I use marula. So I'm really just going out and seeking everything that unites us as Africa, including the likes of your shea butter and that, just putting Africa in a bottle.
Actually, I talked with some friend in Asia about any potential of African product that might be very attractive, or I mean, may have a good value to the Asian consumer. We talk about like a herbal medicine,
Yes,
right?
yes,
Because you have a very unique and different type of a herb or trees from the rest of the
yes,
world. Those
absolutely.
are, but the consumer generally, whether woman or man, they have a huge need or they have a desire for the product. Some that good, maybe good for the man's stamina or beauty, right? That's two things most popular in the world.
Yes, exactly.
So I thought about it. I thought, oh, maybe that make a lot of sense, right? It's because that even in terms of image, because
Yes,
Africa has more image of nature, right? Sun.
absolutely, absolutely,
Sun
yes.
is as compared to like a chemically processed ingredient of cosmetic or herbal medicine. This might be appeal to the people in other part of the world. We had this
Exactly.
discussion. Do you agree?
I do agree. Absolutely, I do agree. I
Yeah,
think when you actually look at everywhere else in the world, Africa has the most, one of the biggest biodiversity. So
right,
it would be criminal if we didn't tap into that biodiversity.
right. So
Mm.
someday I'll find a way to move there and then grow the herb in Africa then.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Would you like to start off by telling us a little bit about yourself and your background and your journey to founding the Nubian? How you got into this space?
Okay, so my background, so my name is Shereen Makhanye, and I'm the founder of Nubian Nature. And my background basically has always been, I think I spent most of my years in telecommunications, which is where I got most of my education in telecommunications. And how I started Nubian Nature, it's actually a very strange story. It actually found me. I always say to people, Nubian Nature found me, right? So I was in corporate at the time. This was in 2013, and I had a colleague whom I was working with at the time, and I had just recently cut my hair, right? And when I cut my hair, I needed something to just fix the hair. And as God would know it, and fate would know it, this friend of mine was also on the same journey. We then put our heads together when we were struggling to find products in South Africa. We then started mixing. It started really like as something of a hobby. But when people started seeing our hair was flourishing, they started asking, "What are you using?" And we were like, "Okay, this is an opportunity to start something." That's basically how Nubian Nature was created. Really, like I said, it's really a business that found me.
I got you. So it basically your business started from your own personal own needs,
Absolutely, yes.
right? Yeah,
Mm.
I'm familiar. And that's the best case. I'm familiar with a similar story. People found, I mean, they are looking for some solution, but they cannot found that the solution or product service is the market. So they decide
Mm-hmm.
to launch the business to fix the problem, right? Yeah,
Exactly. And
right.
that's basically how Nubian Nature started. But
Mm,
obviously, as years go, it's really evolving, because then there's different questions that the industry is asking, and answers that we need to provide as a brand. So it started just as a haircare brand, to cater for my needs and needs of um, of African hair. But as I kept researching and going into the science of things, and just by the way, I need to just state that they always say, if you want to find your purpose, you need to connect the dots backwards. I've always loved science. I ended up not doing science because my parents couldn't afford to take me to school at the time, and I had to just find ways to sort of educate myself, and I changed direction altogether. And I had wanted to be in science, and I ended up not doing science. And when this opportunity to start a business came about, it literally took me back to research again, back to science. And for me, it felt like coming back home. When I started mixing water and oil and see it come together, science for me is home. So and basically what's happened is I started questioning, why are we putting ingredients together? Why are we putting them in this way? And how best can we utilize these ingredients and have less impact on the planet? And how safe are the products that are on the market? And how do we then become different so that we don't continue with the legacy of creating products that are harmful for our people? And yeah, that's basically how we've evolved as a brand, not just making products for hair, but really being conscious about what goes into the body and what goes back to the environment. So, yeah.
Yeah, I can feel the difference. Like, since I have engaged in the finance activity all the time, many decades, I work with together with the entrepreneur business owner of a large company, medium-sized company. But
Yes.
people start from as a business, from in the beginning as a business. Then they think a very top-down approach, like a textbook. Like
Yes.
they think about, okay,
Yes.
let's launch start the cosmetic business. Then what is good for that? I mean, what ingredient can I do the cocktail, right? What is going to be sell more than other product? Yeah, something like that. So, but if
Yes.
you come up with a business idea based on your own personal needs and then try to solve the problem, then you can think of many more different direction and then try to come up with the best solution for that problem.
Exactly. And I think what we've picked up, and at the moment, Nubian Nature is sitting in a very how do I say it? In a very good position, in that at the moment we are the only brand that is really speaking clean beauty within the natural hair care industry. Products that are made for African hair. All the other brands are either speaking natural or organic, but we've sort of decluttered all those words to say, we need science, we need nature, we need to create a balance between the two in order to create products that are functional, but at the same time that are very conscious of what goes on to the body and goes on to the environment.
Right. Yeah. Are you selling the only haircare product, or did you add up any beauty care product other than the haircare now?
Actually, the brand has now grown to include body care products, so it's bath and body products. We also have male grooming products, and we also have skincare. But our skincare is actually, we started introducing a single product last year, which is just a facial oil. And we are looking to grow the range to include skincare that will look at problematic skin and obviously aging, which I think is one of the biggest things in skincare at the moment. We are busy at the moment with R&D.
In terms of market positioning, product positioning, I can understand there are in the market, there are import cosmetic, body care, hair care product in the market. Also the like very cheap, low end, or dangerous ingredient, fake cosmetic and beauty care product. Also, so in terms of price positioning and then product positioning, what are you targeting with your product?
Well, for me, the target is, because our mission for the brand, I think I need to, because that's where the answer lies. The mission for the brand is to give people everywhere access to affordable clean beauty. Because I think when the concept of clean beauty was introduced in the world, even though when we started in 2013, we were quite clear about the vision of where we want to go as a brand, but we just couldn't put the word to it. We 1 minute we would call it green beauty, the next minute we would call it something else, until clean beauty as a word was an acceptable word, in the industry. So our mission is, like I said, is to give people access to affordable clean beauty, because clean beauty as it stands right now, it's a concept only that's marketed to the elite, right? It's marketed as a luxury. And if we continue marketing it as a luxury, we will never get to the standards of Europe. Yes, we will never get to the standards of Europe, where clean beauty is a norm, it's a lifestyle. we want clean beauty to be a lifestyle, and in an African sense, with the kind of demographics that we have, we can't come in with clean beauty at prices that are luxury type pricing, or that are expensive. We can't do it that way if the view or the mission is to ensure that clean beauty is a lifestyle, because that's what we're trying to do right now. What we want is that our people have access to clean products. You know, it shouldn't be only people. I was actually looking at statistics the other day that in our Black community, 65% poverty. If the numbers are looking like that, will people ever use clean products if things look like that? And if we make clean products expensive, then it means only a few people will ever have access to it, which means, again, there's a rise in cancer, in cancer, as we continue to die from cancer, getting it from beauty, so we have to, we positioned in a way that we want a mere man on the street to be able to have access to clean beauty and make that a lifestyle.
Got you. Yeah. It doesn't make sense selling the luxury high-end iPhone, which cost $1,500 in Africa, right? Doesn't make sense.
Not at all. So, Africa is always in mind. Yes, the view on our future view is to grow the brand to become a global brand. However, for us, Africa, is at the core of things when it comes to us. We need to make sure that Africa is also catered for. We don't want to walk the aisles of the beauty stores and still have products and still have aisles that are filled with products that are toxic to the body.
Yeah, actually, I'm having interview with another guest, a Korean old gentleman who live in the West Africa. He got a master and PhD in the solar energy in US. And then he did teach in university and work for the research institute. He moved to the Africa, lived there, worked there 10 years. What he did, he's old man, he's a retired person. So what he did is he made a solar-based lamp at a very, very low cost, using all the material people can get in rural area Africa.
Yes.
So I don't know. He mentioned that it costs the price of one chicken.
Oh wow!
So, but he's not running a business. He has been teaching the young people how to make that solar lamp. Using the material. I learned that they use the terminology. Term the appropriate technology, right?
Oh yes.
So they don't need the luxury high-end technology. Nobody asks for that. Just a few people.
Exactly.
So you need to serve the need and solve the problem of the people.
Absolutely, yes. And that's what we are about. And I think we also just really, and when I say we want to be a global player, I want the world to see, because we need to start removing class. When it comes, beauty is an everyday need. We need to remove class when it comes to beauty. If I want to spend 1,000 rands on a makeup, it must be from choice. But a standard should be beauty must just be clean, no matter where you are in the world, and it shouldn't cost an arm and a leg.
Right. I agree. Totally agree with you. So how does your supply chain work? How do you manufacture, source the product? How do you manufacture, and then how do you distribute the product?
Okay, so in terms of manufacturing, we do manufacturing in-house. We have relationships with different suppliers when it comes to your functional ingredients, the science-based ingredients, things like emulsifiers and that. We have different relationships with different suppliers. And then we do the in-house manufacturing. Right. And then we use a local. So we're very, very, very pedantic about and very conscious about how we do our supply chain. So from the transportation we use a local company, right? A Black owned company, right? Because for us, it's important. Like I told you, the numbers of poverty in South Africa are shocking. And the only way we can fix it is if we directly get involved in making sure we reduce those numbers, right? So when we do our business, we ensure that we support businesses that actually need the support, right? So when we're using a shipping company, we use a Black-owned shipping company locally. And we also, in terms of distribution of the product, we use salons, which because the product is for African hair, the products are then placed in different salons across the country. And also we've just started something with affiliates, what we call affiliates, which is basically the focus, what we'll be focusing on 2021 going forward, using distribution agents, sort of like a multi-level marketing kind of situation where we'll get to have our people not just use the product, but also benefit from using the product. So if you refer a friend, you able to then also make something from that referral, and also sort of use this as a platform for people to actually make employment for themselves. But basically, in terms of distribution, we use local businesses to distribute the product. If it's product that's going outside of the country, obviously then we would use more global companies, with more experience, because we don't have any of the local companies who are able to do that for us at the moment. That's basically, I don't know if I've completely answered your question, but please do let me know if there's anything else you need me to say.
Are you selling directly to the consumer, or are you selling to the retailer?
So at the moment we're selling direct to consumer, right? So we're selling direct to consumer, but also we sell to salons. So at the moment, the people who would buy in bulk would be the salons, right? Who would then, yes, beauty salons, yes. So we sell through the beauty salons. And really, I must tell you now, we've been grappling with that idea for quite a bit. We've had quite a lengthy talk with my managers here about where we want to see the brand going. I think, like I said, this year, the strategy is we want to really look at direct marketing as the vehicle to grow the brand. Because, when we take the brand to retail, it's all good and well. It's great for the brand. We will probably pay for shelf space if we're paying for shelf space, or however it's going to work. But we would rather take the money we would put into a shelf space and then create a direct marketing strategy that's going to then work to alleviate the poverty levels in the country, get people who aren't working to actually benefit from using the product and selling the product. So that's the strategy we're wanting to adopt this year. We think it's going to be the best strategy because we've seen how well direct marketing works when you use people to sell the product and actually get people to, because one of the things we want to do is educate. And if you can educate through people, I think it'll be easier to actually spread the word than it would if the product is sitting in a store shelf.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, education for the consumer good are very, very important.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. And
yes,
interestingly, I shared this story on another episode. In Korean, the cosmetic startup called Cover Korea, they're the young startup, quickly grow the business. And then they sold their business to Unilever for the $2.7 billion.
Yes, that's amazing.
Right. And then another company, Stylelanda, also this company started by the very young lady, like early 20s. She started a business as a drop shipping, purchased the product from the market, and then she repackage again and then send it by postmail, whatever. And then she added all different category, started from the fashion and then added cosmetic. And after less than 10 years, she sold the business about 700, 800 million US dollar to the L'Oreal.
Wow.
So, yeah, that's amazing, right?
It is, absolutely.
More dramatic than the IT, fintech, or ride hailing, right?
Much, yes.
So much better. So I came to believe, because when people talk about the easy to scale business, people talk about low hanging fruit like ride hailing, fintech, and delivery business and e-commerce. That's it, right? I saw that that's the
Yes,
same. You in Africa, you have the same phenomenon in Africa as well, right?
we do. We do. Yes.
Some fintech payment solution company, they got a valuation
Mm-hmm.
almost $1 billion, which is amazing.
Absolutely.
But
It is.
looking at it, I came to believe. I mean, after I witnessed these two cases, I came to believe cosmetic in terms of cost structure, operation structure. These probably one or two business. I mean, all the industrial business, not
Mm-hmm.
fintech, right?
Mm-hmm.
That has a potential to scale to the $1 billion business in a very short time.
Absolutely.
So I came to believe
Absolutely.
that. Right.
Yes.
So my next question is that then I can feel that my impression you are very focused and very good ingredient and good value and thinking about the health implication of your product. So sounds
Mm-hmm.
like a boutique product, right? Your
It
product.
is.
Yeah,
It is. Yes.
you are the providing offering the boutique high end high quality product to the local consumer.
Mm-hmm.
But in order to scale the business, I think that you need to raise the money from the outside investor, and then you need to work with the contract manufacturer, and then you need to sell to the retailer, large retailer, as well as direct sales to the consumer by your company
Mm-hmm.
itself. So, have you thought about that kind of expansion growth strategy for your business?
I have. I have. For instance, I have identified in terms of retailer, which retailer would probably be the best for us here in South Africa, because I think based on the brand messaging, we don't want to just be in a retailer where our product will just be mixed with everybody, because it's not an everybody product, right? It needs to be differentiated so that when somebody comes in the door, they know I'm going to this aisle that has clean beauty products. That's where we want to be found, right? So we have identified a retailer that we think will be best suited for us, right? So we are busy trying to get in with the talks there. We've sent a couple of emails. We're hoping they'll come back to us, and in terms of scaling, and I hear you're saying we'll probably have to find a contract manufacturer. I'm not sure that's where we want to go, because I think contract manufacturing could take a little bit away from us. This is how we wanted to start at the beginning, and because of the direction we wanted to take, a lot of the contract manufacturers we approached weren't willing to go in the direction we were wanting. So we would rather grow our manufacturing versus
by yourself, right? You can
Yes.
I mean,
Yes.
make investment into the manufacturing facility by yourself.
Absolutely,
Right.
absolutely, yes. And I think one of the things we lack as in South Africa is manufacturing. Manufacturing as an industry, we've seen a big decline in the past years, and I think we need to start growing that industry. We need to start creating jobs through manufacturing. So I wouldn't want to contract manufacture, but I'd like to grow that part of the business in order to continue, and just create more jobs, because that's what we need right now.
I saw your profile, and then you introduced that you work for the large telecom company in the past.
Yes,
and
yes,
then you left the company to become entrepreneur.
absolutely.
So that's a very different life, right? I can
It
imagine.
is. It is.
You stayed in the 5-star hotel, were taken care of by everybody, right? Large
Exactly.
everybody.
Yes.
And then
Yes.
you move into the jungle, right?
Now you'd have to stay in an Airbnb. You have to stay in an Airbnb now.
Airbnb, and I mean, the Airbnb, right? Airbnb or
Yes.
jungle.
Yes.
So, I mean, people already know about hardship challenges of entrepreneur, right? Even though the entrepreneur may have a much bigger achievement and then rewarding experience at the end of the day. But I want to ask you about the advantage of becoming an entrepreneur today, not in terms of success. So what gives you the most satisfaction being entrepreneur?
I think for me is doing something. Oh my goodness! I think it's probably one of the craziest things to do. Entrepreneurship is actually crazy. entrepreneurship is the craziest thing you can ever do. I think it's easier
A
just
lot
to
of sleepless night.
yes, a lot of sleepless nights. Sometimes it's easier just waiting for a salary at the end of the month, from just working. But when it comes to entrepreneurship, for me, what wakes me up is being focused on what it is that I want to achieve. So, because for me, clean beauty for the brand, as what we are driving in the brand, is a movement, right? So for me, I always say this even to my children, that people might not hear me today, but I know that the steps I'm making today will be heard in the future. If people can't hear me now, they will hear my children if they continue speaking, about how clean it is. And I think as a people in Africa, we've really been undermined and ignored. And that just wakes me up every morning, because it's beyond just business. It's, like I said, it's a movement. I'm waking up for a cause. It's
a purpose, right? You have
it's
now
a purpose.
Right.
Absolutely. So
you
for me,
you don't run the process, tick the box and count the bean in the company, right?
Exactly. So and for me to see, obviously, the rewards are just are just not what we are after, but it's something that will just automatically happen. Rewards are just automatically happening, but the work is, how do we continue in this work and ensuring that people get the best? Our people deserve the best. I believe my people deserve the best. And that just wakes me up every single day, because if I don't do it, then it means, again, another child will get a cancer. For crying out loud, Africa has the youngest population in the world, and if we don't change the landscape of beauty now, we're looking at a future that's filled with disease. And if we make a change today, we're looking at a brighter future. So for me, it's really just always thinking about that. It's not just about me, it's about the whole. How do I add to the whole in a meaningful way? And for me, Nubian Nature is my way of adding value into the whole.
Yeah, purpose and meaning of life, right? You
Absolutely.
find that. That's great.
Yeah.
I share that feeling and emotion. Like,
Thank you.
I always work in the large company, large international bank, but entrepreneur are real human being. Probably market lady.
Absolutely.
I think it's a real person, real human being. Market lady who sell the fish in the local wet market. She's a real person. But it's everything has an upside and downside. If you work with a large company, there is of course a certainly upside, but you have to follow the rule, run the process. That's their daily life. But if you run the company, becoming an entrepreneur, then you are in the middle of real life, right? Community.
Absolutely. And I think that's what makes it more exciting, actually. There's more meaning, like you said. There is much more meaning to it than just following rules, and you actually get to break the rules when you're an entrepreneur. You get to break the rules, and you do your thing, which is great.
Should break the rule every day, right?
Yes.
Not one time. There's doing breaking a rule or the disrupt the business and pivoting the business one time. That's luxury for large company.
Exactly.
Right? You have to do a billion times, right?
A billion times, absolutely.
Right. Okay, last question is, what can we expect from you this year? And then what is your long-term vision of with Nubian?
Okay, so firstly, I'll start with the vision. So the vision is that we become a global player in affordable, clean beauty, because I really think it's possible, right? Because when you create a demand, prices come down. So when something is widely demanded, the prices will come down. Because I think one of the biggest challenges we've faced is the cost of raw materials is quite high, especially when you're buying clean ingredients. The ingredients are high, but when the demand is high, the suppliers don't have a choice but to actually bring down the prices. So our vision is to become a global player in the affordable clean beauty space. And then what was the question again? What do I want to do this year?
Yes.
The plan this year, like I said, I think I've just slightly mentioned that we're looking to create a direct marketing strategy, right? So we want to implement that this year. We actually have implemented the strategy, or rather created the strategy, but we want to implement it this year. We want to create a sort of a multi-level marketing strategy where we get our own customers, because I think our biggest advocates so far have been our customers. So now we want to be able to compensate them for actually referring their friends and families to the business, and also just to really get new agents to start selling the product, right? Because like I said before, it's a way of not just getting the products into the hands of many people, but also getting the message out, getting people to be more aware, getting people to start reading their labels. Because I think it's one of the biggest challenges in South Africa. People don't read labels as much. And now just, when I do it or a friend is doing it, it's something that is easily done when you see somebody else do it. So we want to implement that this year. And we really think that's where the growth of Nubian Nature actually lies. I truly believe that's where the growth of Nubian Nature lies. And a lot of these big companies obviously will go into retail. And that's exactly where we'd like to go, because we're looking at a specific store that will sort of embrace, our brand message. However, our key focus is creating a multi-level marketing strategy and implementing it this year and getting the message. Because really, if you want a message to travel fast, instead of putting it on a magazine, tell it to a woman, it'll travel faster than internet. So that's my belief, so that's basically what we're trying to do this year. And we really believe in this strategy, and we think it's going to really take us to new heights.
Sounds like a great plan.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
If it doesn't speak health to my body, I don't put it in my body. So yeah, and I'm very aware that I need that as an entrepreneur. I need to keep the energy levels high, so I need to make sure I take care of myself.
Yep. Thank you very much for taking time to sharing your interesting story of business journey.
Thank you so much, David.
I wish you all the good luck and great success. Continue the success.
Thank you so much. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
I really think this is the year for Nubian Nature. So yeah, you need to just make sure, keep watching in the space.
I'll do that. I'll keep watching what you're doing. I follow you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for listening to this episode. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast, share with a friend, and drop me a review. Goodbye.